The PAP says more opposition MPs will make life difficult for Lawrence Wong and the PAP government in managing Singapore. Number 3, the PAP says that in a time of crisis, if you don't elect ministers like Mr. Gan Kim Yong and all the current and potential ministers, we are in big trouble. Number 4, Lawrence Wong says the opposition is here to stay. Number 5, he tells voters not to give the opposition a free pass. Now, let me do a reality check on each of these points. These reality checks may give you a good reason to vote for the Workers' Party come 3rd of May. Let me address the first point. Lawrence Wong asks for a strong mandate. He says a weakened mandate would make it harder for the PAP to represent Singaporeans' interests internationally. His foreign counterparts will size up the PAP ministers when they negotiate, and only if the PAP has a clear mandate can they represent Singapore confidently. By strong mandate, the PAP means at least 90% of the fully elected seats, but preferably 100%. So here is reality check number 1. Even if every Workers' Party candidate enters Parliament, and that is a very big if, the PAP will still have 71 out of 97 seats, and that is 73%. Does the PAP really believe that foreign leaders of democratic countries who meet Prime Minister Lawrence Wong will think, oh, the Singapore Prime Minister only won 73% of the seats. So lousy. He must come from a lousy school. Do you actually think the foreign leaders will say this? Only the PAP says such things and think like this. Let me tell you, foreign leaders of democracies would get their right arm and right leg for 73% of the seats in Parliament. They would say 73% is a fantastic result. But they would also say that politics in Singapore is stable, and more than being an advanced economy, Singapore is finally beginning to look like the participatory democracy promised decades ago by then Prime Minister Mr. Goh Chok Tong. My second point is on PM Lawrence Wong saying that voting in more opposition weakens the PAP in governing Singapore. So, reality check number 2. Once the PAP forms government, it can pursue its full agenda. Winning a majority of the seats would allow the PAP to pass all the bills that it wants. And just 65 seats will give the PAP a 2/3 majority. With that, the PAP will be able to amend almost any part of the Constitution, even if the opposition disagrees. They have been doing that all these years. For example, in creating the reserve presidency. And the reality is this: the PAP will win 65 or more seats easily. How do I know this? I don't have a crystal ball, but my first degree from NUS was in history. So let's look at history. The GRC system started in 1988. It took 18 years for the PAP to lose one GRC in 2011. It took another 2 elections to lose one more in 2020. It is extremely difficult for any opposition party to win a GRC or an SMC. That's a fact. And even if the Workers' Party wins a few more seats, the PAP government will not be weakened. Let's look at history again. Before 1980, there were fewer than 70 PAP MPs in Parliament. Yet, the PAP had more than enough people from which to find outstanding 1G ministers. Mr. Lee Kuan Yew had far fewer people to choose from than PM Lawrence Wong has. If the PAP wins 71 out of 97 seats, is PM Wong saying that he cannot find enough good people to fill his cabinet? Is he telling us that the caliber of his PAP MPs is very low? And let me add one more important reason why having more WP MPs will not weaken the government. We do not oppose for the sake of opposing. If the laws are in Singapore's interest, we will vote with the government as we have done so. Everyone here knows the Workers' Party MPs are rational and responsible. So I call on the voters to elect all the WP candidates. Even if all our candidates are elected, the PAP will still have more than 2/3 of the seats. Vote for us and we will work for you in your estate and in Parliament. Now, during this campaign, I believe 2 former army generals, one in East Coast GRC and one in Tampines, alluded to the point that the opposition just talks and talks and talks. I was quite surprised when I heard this. And why do I say so? Now, around this time last year, before Mr. Lee Hsien Loong handed over power to Mr. Lawrence Wong, he gave an extended interview to the mainstream media, various mainstream media outlets. In his exchange with Lian He Zhao Bao, there was a segment that contrasted talk and action. Zhao Bao asked Mr. Lee Hsien Loong, why do you say that communication skills are so important? In the past or all along, the PAP would say less and do more. But now, you mentioned the content of speeches, how to express it well. Why are they important? Mr. Lee Hsien Loong replied, we used to say less and do more. But the former Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew, his speeches were very effective. Through his speeches, he mobilized the entire country and led it on many paths. So it is not possible to say that speeches are unimportant. My fellow Singaporeans, it is in the nature of a parliamentary democracy that all of us do not just have to attend Parliament faithfully, we have to speak up for Singaporeans. The opposition makes its contribution by checking the government of the day, the same thing Mr. Lee Kuan Yew did when he was in opposition after 1955. In fact, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew would even walk out of Parliament along with his MPs to make a political point. As an opposition MP, he could not be a man of action in terms of executing policies at that point because his main job was to be a loyal opposition. But in Parliament, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew talked and talked and talked. So I would ask the PAP candidates, have a care for our political system. It is designed to represent all Singaporeans. And the Workers' Party has to step up for them. And 2 days ago, Mr. Chan Chun Singh said that this election campaign should be about focusing on the core issues. Unlike the PAP, the Workers' Party has put out a manifesto with concrete proposals, actionable items for Singaporeans to understand our general election agenda, not mere motherhood statements, but for the whole campaign. On housing, for example, no PAP candidate wanted to talk substantively during the rallies about lease decay. No PAP candidates wanted to engage the issue of how land for public housing is valued with a view to explore the prospects of housing affordability. No PAP candidate wanted to substantively engage the issue of why GST had to be hiked during a global inflation storm and why it could not be delayed. Some of these were directly brought up during our rally speeches. Our manifesto and our solutions for Singapore were shared with the public well before nomination day. Why didn't the PAP engage on these core issues? Beyond advocating for a fairer and more just and thoughtful policy in Parliament, we have encapsulated our vision in our manifesto with concrete ideas that envision the type of Singapore we want for our people. So far from weakening Singapore, the Workers' Party will bring the voices of Singaporeans into government through Parliament. Now, my third point. Lawrence Wong says that in times of severe crisis, if you don't elect ministers like Gan Kim Yong and all his current and potential ministers, we are in big trouble. He says we risk our lives and future if we vote for the Workers' Party. Reality check number 3. It was Prime Minister Wong himself who moved Gan Kim Yong out of Choa Chu Kang when he had been there for 14 years. DPM Gan is new to the ground in Punggol. Prime Minister Wong said that the move was for leadership distribution. This does not make sense because Singapore is so small. We are not America, China, or even Malaysia. In 2020, Ng Chee Meng was moved from Pasir Ris Punggol to Sengkang GRC and he lost. To move a minister who you claim to be really important at election time is a risk, and it can be deemed reckless when you have other relatively safer constituencies to put him in, and he knows exactly what I mean. So if DPM Gan is indispensable, then, if I may use PM Wong's own phrase, moving him was cavalier and irresponsible. Senior Minister Lee Hsien Loong says, or he said at the rally, that voters should not play dangerous games and vote tactically. But it looks like Prime Minister Wong is the one playing dangerous tactical games. From all of this, I can only draw 2 reasonable conclusions. First, moving DPM Gan to Punggol was a tactical move to stop the Workers' Party from winning the GRC. I think this is obvious to everyone. Second, I believe that Lawrence Wong would not have risked Gan Kim Yong against the Workers' Party if he is indispensable. PM Wong must have been confident that he has enough talent even without DPM Gan. There is no other reasonable conclusion. Now, if he is not confident that he has enough ministers, would he have allowed 4 ministers to retire? Would PM Wong have let Teo Chee Hian, Heng Swee Keat, Ng Eng Heng, Maliki Osman to step down if he was short of talent? 3 of these ministers are not just heavyweights, they are super heavyweights. If PM Wong truly believed there was a risk to Singapore's future, you could have asked one or more of them to stay on, just like PM Lee Hsien Loong or then PM Lee Hsien Loong remained as Prime Minister during COVID. But PM Wong let them go. These 4 ministers who retired are years younger than Senior Minister Lee Hsien Loong, who remains in cabinet. Without a single vote being cast, it was not the voters or the opposition parties, but Prime Minister Wong who removed 4 ministers. But now he says to the voters, don't vote out serving ministers. Voters and the media should ask him, is DPM Gun truly indispensable? If so, why did you risk him and risk our future? Why didn't you keep him in Choa Chu Kang? Now, in my opinion, the real reason must be this. PM Wong knows that moving DPM Gun was not risking Singapore's future. DPM Gun is not indispensable. And that is the simple truth. No one is indispensable. If DPM Gun is not re-elected, Singaporeans need not feel guilty. After all, you didn't put him at risk, the PMP did. And even if Gan Kim Yong is not elected, he can still serve Singapore. For example, just like previous ministers, he could be appointed chairman of a government-linked company. And if Mr. Gan has a good relationship with the US trade negotiator, there is no reason why he cannot continue to be Singapore's official negotiator or special envoy. To Americans and most countries in the world, winning and losing elections is normal. They are used to people losing elections and then representing the United States. Just look at Senator John Kerry or then President Jimmy Carter. Regardless of what the PAP would have you believe, the Americans will not care if Mr. Gan lost the election and is no longer DPM. The Americans and many other countries follow professional practice and they deal with the person who is officially appointed by the government. They will happily continue to deal with ex-DPM Gan. Voters of Punggol GRC, as our candidate in Punggol GRC, Alexis Dang Pei Yen, said in her rally speech, don't fall for the same trick that was played on East Coast GRC in GE 2020. And to the voters in Tampines and East Coast, just like DPM Gan can serve elsewhere, the same goes for Minister Masagos and Edwin Tong. Mr. Masagos has worked in senior positions in Singtel. He could easily become chairman of a GLC or an ambassador like ex-minister Lui Tak Yew. Mr. Edwin Tong is a senior counsel. He could lead the Singapore Institute of Legal Education. Or he can join the Football Association of Singapore to fulfill his dream of bringing Singapore to the FIFA World Cup in 2034. saying that the opposition is here to stay. He is trying to assure voters that the opposition will be elected. This is reality check number 4. The PAP wants to win all the parliamentaries. Teo Chee Hean personally walked the ground with the PAP Aljunied team, and he said, and I quote, "We don't give up any constituency," unquote. Make no mistake, the PAP never gives up. Voters of Aljunied, Hougang, Sengkang, and all the other constituencies where the Workers' Party is contesting, we do not take your vote for granted. We must fight for every single vote. Every single vote is precious for the Workers' Party. To the voters in Tampines, Changkat, East Coast, Punggol, Jalan Kayu, please do not assume that Aljunied, Hougang and Sengkang are in any way safe for the Workers' Party. There are never any safe seats for the opposition. Even Aljunied was nearly lost in 2015. The margin was a razor-thin 2%. Every single vote counts. So, make your vote count. The PAP is dominant and it always campaigns hard. Vote for the Workers' Party to create a more balanced political system. My fifth and final point is on Lawrence Wong's comment of "don't give a free pass to the opposition." He said voters should apply the same standards to the PAP and opposition candidates. No. Reality check number 5. The PAP created the GRC system. Since 1988, GRCs have protected dozens of new PAP MPs. For this election, a few PAP candidates never worked the ground until recently. Voters do not know them, but voters are expected to vote for them just because they are in a GRC with an anchor minister. That is what I call a free pass. By saying what he did, PM Lawrence Wong was treating us voters like simpletons. But the last few elections have proven to the Workers' Party that Singaporean voters are savvy, thoughtful, and patriotic. Look at the percentages in previous elections. Singapore voters proved to be highly discerning and sophisticated. For example, better and more popular PAP candidates like Mr. Tharman, our president, got the highest percentages. When it came to the opposition parties, the range of different percentages depending on which opposition party you compare can be very significant. Voters of Singapore, the Workers' Party trusts your judgment. If you compare the current Workers' Party candidates to the PAP candidates, I believe you will agree that our batch of candidates is one of the best the Workers' Party has put up. And I would go one step further. The Workers' Party candidates offer all the PAP candidates do and more. These people behind me have come forward to run for the opposition, the Workers' Party. This proves that they are brave, they have guts, they have resilience. PAP candidates have nothing to lose when they run. Maybe they lose a little privacy, but what other risks do they take? Upon entering politics, PAP candidates and MPs certainly enhance their careers. In comparison, the Workers' Party candidates have little to gain and everything to lose. Actually, I should correct myself. It is not true that the Workers' Party candidates have nothing to gain. they do. By standing as Workers' Party candidates, they acquire the privilege of standing up for Singaporeans for a more balanced political system and being counted. My fellow Singaporeans, I trust that you are savvy, thoughtful and patriotic voters. When you assess the collective potential of these Workers' Party candidates before you today in building a more balanced parliament, the choice is crystal clear. And most importantly, before you cast your vote in Aljunied, in Hougang, in Sengkang, Jalan Kayu, Tampines Changkat, Tampines, East Coast and Punggol, remember this phrase. Workers' Party are a force for good. So, on the 3rd of May, vote for the Workers' Party, working for Singapore. It gives me great pleasure and great honor to introduce someone up on the stage to join you. He was the former Member of Parliament for Hougang, former Member of Parliament for Aljunied, former Secretary General of the Workers' Party, Mr. Lau Tia Kiong. We have come to the close of a very, very long election campaign that didn't just start 9 days ago. It started 5 years ago. And in the tradition of the Workers' Party, we always end the last rally with the pledge